People say the NFL isn't scripted, but what if it is? What if, in a single night, two legends' careers were shattered? Not by chance, but by design. Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers. Two names, 1 week, one shocking silence. Some will call it coincidence, some will call it bad luck. But when coincidence happens over and over, it stops being random. It becomes a pattern. Is it possible the NFL script is over for two of its biggest stars? Let's be honest, the NFL is more than just a sport. It's a multi-billion-dollar entertainment product, carefully controlled and packaged for maximum drama. Think about the primetime slots, the massive national TV deals. Every season tells a story filled with heroes and villains, epic comebacks, and tragic collapses. We see redemption arcs, sudden downfalls, and last-minute triumphs that feel like they were pulled straight from a Hollywood movie. And that's why, when a superstar suddenly collapses or a legendary figure vanishes without warning, fans start asking questions. Was this natural, or was this planned? Consider how information flows in the NFL universe. Vegas reacts first, with betting lines shifting dramatically before any news breaks. Then the media reports follow, often with carefully selected narratives. But it's the fans, the ones watching every game, who notice the patterns that just don't add up. Is it all just a coincidence, or is it insider knowledge at play? When Monday is completely calm, and by Tuesday, chaos erupts around a major team or player, those doubts start to grow. Let's look at the first piece of the puzzle, Mike Tomlin. For 19 years, he was the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and in that entire time, he never had a single losing season. Think about that, 19 consecutive years. Through injuries to star players, through rebuilding phases, through draft mistakes and locker room drama, Mike Tomlin never faltered. His record was unbreakable, a testament to his consistency and leadership. He was a pillar of the league. Then, out of nowhere, comes the announcement, "I am stepping down." The reaction across the league was universal shock. It seemed impossible. The timing is what makes this so suspicious. If a legendary coach like Tomlin was planning his exit, you'd expect a grand farewell. There would be a formal press conference, tribute videos, weeks of media build-up celebrating his career, but we got nothing. Just a quiet statement on a random Tuesday afternoon. No leaks, no rumors, and most importantly, no explanation. In a league where every detail is analyzed, this kind of silence screams louder than any words ever could. And then there's the strange wording itself. Stepping down. He wasn't fired. It wasn't a mutual parting of ways. In corporate and sports jargon, stepping down is a loaded phrase. It often means the full story can't be revealed publicly. It suggests that plans have already been decided behind closed doors, and this is just the formal announcement. Tomlin gave no reason for his departure. And when reasons are missing, fans will always fill in the blanks with theories. Now let's cut to Aaron Rodgers. The scene is January 13th. The lights are bright. It's a playoff game. The pressure is immense. A legacy is on the line. This is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about, a 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion, often called one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever play the game. But that night, something was clearly off. He seemed hesitant with his throws, disconnected from his teammates on the sideline, and visibly frustrated. Even the commentators started whispering, "Something feels wrong here." The stats from that game are shocking. Rodgers finished with just 146 passing yards and 0 touchdowns. Drive after drive stalled. Afterwards, fans and analysts tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was the weather, maybe his receivers weren't getting open, maybe it was the coaching, but the numbers didn't lie. And Rodgers' reaction after the game? That was even more telling. In the post-game press conference, a reporter asked him a straightforward question. "Do you see yourself coming back next season?" Rodgers' entire expression changed. His answer was blunt and dismissive. "That's a dumb question." He grabbed his drink, pushed back his chair, and walked straight out of the room. No clarification, no emotional goodbye. Just an abrupt exit as the cameras kept rolling. This moment matters because it wasn't just a flash of anger. It felt like finality. When superstars leave the game, they usually do it one of two ways. They announce it formally with a press tour, or they quietly disappear into retirement. Rodgers chose a third option, an explosive public exit that left everyone guessing. And here's where it all comes together. In the very same week, Mike Tomlin resigns in complete silence, and Aaron Rodgers storms out of his final press conference. Then, during the live broadcast, Former quarterback and now lead commentator Troy Aikman says, without hesitation, "I think we're watching Aaron Rodgers' last game." There was no apology for the speculation. No correction from the network. Just a statement delivered as fact followed by more silence. Coincidence? Or the final page of a script being turned? You decide. That question was still ahead, and the NFL answered it. Not with a statement, but with a slip. A single sentence. Spoken live. By the last person who was ever supposed to say it. Troy Aikman is not a hot take artist. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, a network-trusted voice, and one of the most media-trained analysts in sports history. This is a man who knows delay buttons exist. He knows producers are in his ear. He knows exactly what not to say on live television. And yet, he said it anyway. I think we're watching Aaron Rodgers' last game. There was no hesitation, no sarcasm, no follow-up joke. Just a calm, matter-of-fact sentence. Let's be clear about why this line hit differently. If Troy Aikman speculates, he frames it as speculation. He adds context. He protects the network. But this time he didn't say maybe. He didn't say it could be. He didn't say if he decides to. He said it like it was a conclusion. And that's what made everyone so uncomfortable. Normally, when something premature or inappropriate is said on live TV, the co-commentator redirects, the producer cuts away, or the network issues a clarification later. None of that happened. Instead, the booth went quiet. The broadcast just moved on. The line was left hanging in the air. That silence mattered. Because in live media, that kind of silence usually means one thing. This was not a mistake. It just wasn't supposed to be said yet. If you watch the replay carefully, look at Aikman himself. After saying the line, he doesn't smile. He doesn't backtrack. He doesn't try to fill the empty space with noise. He just pauses, and that pause is important. People pause like that when they realize I just said something real too early. Now let's connect the dots. In the same week, Mike Tomlin quietly steps down. Aaron Rodgers plays arguably the worst playoff game of his career. Rodgers then storms out of a press conference. And Troy Aikman casually announces a possible retirement. 4 separate events, but here's the problem. They all complete the exact same narrative arc. The NFL loves clean endings. It does not like messy exits, open-ended legends, or lingering uncertainty. It prefers one last game, one final image, one definitive moment. Think about past legends like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Ben Roethlisberger. Each of them got a controlled farewell, even in defeat. But Rodgers? His felt different. It felt uncontrolled. Aaron Rodgers has always played by his own rules. He's defied the media, created tension with the front office, and embraced public contradictions. He is not an easy player to manage. And the NFL does not like chaos. So when a player like Rodgers reaches the end of his road, the league prefers containment. But what if this time, containment failed? Let's go back to that press conference moment. A reporter asks, "Do you see yourself coming back next season?" This was not a random question. Reporters ask that when they've heard something, when they've been tipped off, or when they sense an ending is near. Rodgers' reaction wasn't confusion. It was irritation. As if the question wasn't supposed to be asked yet. His anger wasn't about the topic of retirement. It was about feeling exposed, about losing control of his own narrative, about being pushed before he was ready. He didn't deny retirement. He shut down the question. That's a key distinction. Here's where things get really interesting. What if Rodgers had already been told something? What if the organization already knew the direction things were heading, and the exit was supposed to be softer, but then the game went badly, the frustration spilled out, and suddenly the script started breaking? Then you have the other half of this story, Mike Tomlin. His exit matters because Tomlin represents stability, discipline, and order. When someone like him steps away without a big explanation, it usually means something behind the scenes has already shifted, and shifts at that level rarely happen alone. Let's remove the emotion for a second. The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business driven by ratings and storylines. New eras create new stars, new markets, and new revenue. Old legends eventually can become obstacles to that growth. It doesn't mean they're disrespected. It just means their exits are managed, and Vegas saw it coming. Before Tomlin's resignation, before Rodgers' press conference, before Aikman's comment, certain betting markets shifted, quietly, subtly. Future odds, coaching props, quarterback availability lines. Vegas doesn't guess. Vegas reacts to information. So why is this never discussed on TV? Because talking about it would mean admitting that the league has influence over narratives, that endings are sometimes shaped, not accidental. And that would damage the illusion. So instead, we get words like coincidence, bad timing, or just speculation. But fans aren't buying it anymore. The fan response was the biggest tell. Look at the reaction online. It wasn't shock. It wasn't disbelief. It was recognition. Fans weren't asking, is this real? They were asking, is this how it ends? That question alone says everything. Imagine it. No farewell season, no victory lap. Just a bad playoff loss, an angry exit, and a commentator's slip. That's not how legends are supposed to go. Unless that's exactly how this one was allowed to go. And now we reach the most dangerous question of all. Not, was this scripted? But, what happens when a script stops working? In real time? Because in our next video, we're going to examine why the NFL may have lost control of this ending, what insiders still aren't saying, and whether this really was a goodbye, or the beginning of something much bigger. What if I told you the games you watch every Sunday are just the surface? That the real drama, the real power plays, happen far from the turf? The story of a legend like Rodgers, the legacy of a coach like Tomlin, you think you know how they end. But the truth? We're just getting started. There are secrets the NFL hopes you'll never find out. Shocking twists hidden behind closed doors, and untold stories that could change everything you think you know about the league. If you're ready to look past the highlights and uncover what's really going on, you've come to the right place. We're digging into every detail, every rumor, every cover-up. Hit subscribe and turn on those notifications because you won't want to miss what's coming next. In the NFL, the most important plays are the ones you never see.